Hey, it's Sam with SuperSend, and this is part two of our M&A outbound campaign. We're building our clay table. We built our sequence as well. So really today, I just want to go over what our final clay table looks like and show you how easy it is to send to SuperSend once you've built your table. So we first started out with a list of people from M&A companies, whether that was from Apollo or from Play. And all we really had was the company name, the company domain, the first and last name, job title, LinkedIn profile, and then we already had validated the work email. So all of the contacts in here have validated work emails. The first thing that I did was I like to clean the first name. Some of these first names come from LinkedIn, so there might be a J at the end of the name. They might go by a shorter version of their name. Sometimes they might have a first and middle name, or sometimes their full name might show up. We use Gemini. It's a very quick and inexpensive way to just clean your data a little bit better. I noticed that there were some clean first names missing, so I always like to try to make sure that the entire table is filled out before we send the contacts over to SuperSend. So because the LinkedIn profile is blank. And then this is because the company domain is blank. Sometimes you just have to do manually. So I'm just going to copy and paste these over because all of them look fine. All right, so we've done that. In the previous video that I posted, I showed you how I went from a contact list to a company list and then did research on the companies and then brought them back over into the people list. So just a quick recap of how I do that. What I did is I copied over the table and I deduped by domain. Then I started analyzing and doing research on a company level. What I did first is I normalized the company name, and Clay does this for free. So you can use their prompt for the normalized company name. One thing I did notice is that it was removing and co. So I ended up sorting those. And as you can see, like I manually put in the at CO. Takes like 2 minutes. It is worth it, especially if you're going to use the company name inside of your copy. The next thing that I did is finalized my prompt for the variables that I want for contacts for inside of our sequence copy. So my final prompt, if we just take a look at it, we are using our API key for Gemini, and all we're inputting is the company name and the company domain. And basically, we're telling them to research the company. We want to know, do these M&A companies, are they on the sell side, or they on the buy side, or are they on both? This just adds a tiny bit of personalization to our copy. So we also wanted to mention like where they're doing business primarily. So if they have specifics on their website, we like to mention that. But if they're global, it will also say global markets. One thing to know is my prompt is pretty detailed. And then for the focus vertical, more specifically, what type of M&A firm are they? What type of deals are they doing? And so we had them come up with all lowercase, 1 to 3 words, output as a natural phrase with and before the last item. I think it's the best when we include the sentence that the variable is going to be inserted in. So must read naturally in saw your recent work in focus vertical, in cybersecurity, in financial services, in pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and life sciences. And then as always, we just like to scroll down. We always select JSON and we generate from prompt so that each of our outputs can be individually columned. So once we've done our research on the company side, then I brought these variables to individual contacts for each of those companies. So maybe there's only one person, maybe there's only one contact at the company that we're reaching out to. Maybe there's 5. So when we go back over to the people table, what you can do is you can look up a single row in other table. And when you do this, you are going to search your other table. And the target column is the one that's going to be matched to a column inside of the people table to bring over that data. So we pulled domains and we deduped by domain. So we want to target the domain. We want to make it equal to the company domain in the people table. And once you do that, all you have to do is run. This doesn't cost anything. It will pull over that information from another table for free, and it will bring in all these variables to a contact level. We're not adding any personalization at the moment on a contact level for this campaign, but our first sequence is only 3 emails. We just want to test the offer first. And once we determine if it's a good offer or not, then our second campaign might be more personalized to the person that we're actually reaching out to. But for now, I'm ready to pull these contacts over to SuperSend. So I just want to show you how easy it is to add that API request. So to pull all of these contacts into our SuperSend campaign, we're going to add enrichment. We're going to use the HTTP API, and we have documentation on our website that's easy to copy and paste over to create this API request. So let me open that up really quick. Okay, so this is our contact API page. Let's just copy all of these over. We put post as the method. Our endpoint is going to be HTTPS, API SuperSend, contacts create. And here is the body. We will fill this out. As you can see, we need to insert any custom variable names here, and then also our team ID and our campaign ID. So I'm going to open up my campaign inside of SuperSend. I'm going to go to campaign settings, integrations, and now we can see all of our IDs and keys on this page. So I'm going to copy my team ID first. And then I'm going to copy over my campaign ID. And then I also need to add headers. And then I need to insert my API key. So now I'm going to fill out our JSON body with all the appropriate updated variables. So we want the cleaned first name. We'll do just normal last name. Company name is we want the normalized name. When you type, it doesn't pop up. So only do the dash and then you have to scroll, unfortunately. Company URL, company domain, LinkedIn. Title. We don't have a phone, we don't have Twitter, so I'm just going to delete those instead of leaving them blank. We also don't have city, state, or country, but what we do have is the geo focus. We also don't have city, state, or country, so I'm just going to delete those. But we do have is custom variables. So I want to pull over our 3 custom variables that we came up with. Our focus vertical, deal side recent, and geo focus. I'm just going to copy and paste this for our next 2 variables as well. So 1, 2, instead of focus vertical, we're going to do deal side recent. And we're going to do geo focus. Okay, and that's all that we need to do for our API key. I'm going to save and don't run. So I filtered this to see how many contacts didn't actually have this personalization. There's only 30 out of 4,247. So I'm going to leave this out for now. Inside of our API, we can make these optional or not optional. So if some of these contacts don't have a job title, we still want to reach out to them because we're not really using job title in our campaign. So now I'm going to show you what these contacts look like after sending them to SuperSend and what the variable will look like inside of our copy. Okay, need to remove contact. So after you run the API, just make sure that you do a hard refresh and then those custom variables will show up on the contact level. So when we click on the contact and go over to contact information, when we scroll down, we'll notice that our custom variables are down here at the bottom. And I just want to show you what that would look like inside of our messaging. Okay, so now when we open up our sequence, as you can see, we have liquid syntax inside of our messaging. So if a certain variable equals something specific, then it will shoot out this sentence. We like to use this. Sometimes it's because of different tenses. Maybe if we're using titles, we want to use a different value prop for different titles. So we love using liquid syntax. When we click preview message, we then can select a contact and we'll be able to read what their exact email they would get would look like. So deal emails that land. Hi, Aaron. Noticed Raincatcher has recently focused on both buy and sell side deals. Since February 24, Gmail Outlook tightened bulk sender rules. Have you noticed a drop off in email performance since? If you're still expanding reach in the US and you're curious how we supercharge domains, inbox rotation, warm up and monitoring so firms outreach stays human compliant and lands in inbox without risking the primary domain, let's chat. Reply in and I'll shoot over a 15-minute calendar invitation. And that's it. That's how we are bringing over our contacts from a clay table into SuperSend and how we're using personalized variables to personalize copy inside of a campaign sequence. Thanks.